Quad, let's be honest, Quad was a monster this game, and it was very worthwhile for FlyQuest to invest resources into him early, and so that's why you see TL now banning away this Orianna.
Yeah, and there's no Skarner available, so no first pick Skarner for them. The Aurora up and available, but I just gotta say, I just don't like carries for Impact, and I think he's gonna be playing this again.
Got to put 700 more hours of practice in onto that Aurora. Nah, it looks like they didn't have the time.
I like more.
Yeah. Spawn with some very good inspirational speeches. TL are going to need them now because this is possibly, you know, the last moment for them. So they do invest in the Nocturne here. Now, Nocturne does not just pair with Orianna, of course. As Gen G demonstrated, it pairs very well with the said Aurora we were talking about, as well as a couple other options. I don't think they're going to pick the Twitch, but Twitch was already hovered earlier in the previous draft.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if they brought it out. They obviously did play it already in the GAM series. That time they paired it with a Nico, but that is also banned. So a lot of these prime pairings are going to be taken away. When I think back to some of the other pairings and I think of Impact champs, honestly wouldn't be shocked, you know, see like a Cannon or something along those lines either.
Definitely could be one of the possibilities. Speaking of Impact, Bwipo feels it necessary to steal away the Ksante again and then have Impact on, you know, something maybe a little more carry-oriented, I don't know, because he just feels like he doesn't have to. For the side of FlyQuest, there is a level of comfort.
I mean, it's interesting, right? Because, you know, if I'm TL coming into this, I might just be prioritizing a first pick Renekton to just get Impact, that comfort, right? You know, look towards something like that, because that is one of the bruisers he's been very comfortable on. But speaking of comfort, we are back towards the APA. Well, yeah, they banned it out. Yeah, I know. But I'm saying, you know, they could have left it up in first pick. But APA here is going to be playing the Tristana, and it is going to be Impact on the Rumble. The Tristana, I mean, it's kind of interesting because it is one of those things that so many people have so much practice on from the summer split, but it has not looked good for very many players when it's been brought out at Worlds, including APA. You know, we saw Weibo obviously going towards a lot of AD carries, and then they kind of abandoned ship after that wasn't working for them. But Team Liquid are going back towards pretty much ultimate comfort.
Okay, so TL, Tristana, Rumble, Nocturne, top half of the map taken care of. Over on FlyQuest side, Ksante and Ahri locked in for the solo lanes, but they want to lock the Kalista for Massu before we get into the second half of the bans.
And I always like that on red side because then you get 2 protection bans here and they immediately take away the Ashe, which is so problematic for the Kalista lane. You're trying to kind of do damage control on the side of TL and take away good pairings that go with the Kalista by destroying the Renata here. But, you know, Busio can just be on one of these other engage combinations with the Kalista and still look to set up a very strong team fight once again.
I'm assuming Vi will probably get banned out here to try to deny that pairing from Inspired as well as Quad. And we'll have to see what he wants to look towards after that. But you know, there are a lot of options, obviously, alongside Kalista. Renata is that kind of premier enchanter support that does pair well with it, but it can work well with engage supports as well, and can be quite powerful just kind of on its own.
If they don't ban the Vi, then that is, to me, APA telling Spawn, it's fine, I will rocket jump the Vi ults that come my way. I get a little nervous when I hear that, but you know, if you have confidence in that, then go straight for it.
The problem is sometimes you can buffer and just die anyway to damage that's getting piled through, right? So, you know, it is difficult. Viego Ahri also has been one of those pairings that they have liked to play with. It is definitely an Inspired special, but the Vi is up. The Vi is that premier duo with the Ahri. And I'm already getting a little bit worried here for TL just through the draft.
Yeah, Vi and Ahri, best buddies. This duo has just done so much work throughout pretty much forever, right?
And I mean, we just know there's going to be multiple targets though, right? Because it's like Yeon is going to go towards an AD carry pretty much guaranteed here as well. So you have 2 AD carries to look towards. Rumble can be an easy pick target in the side lanes as well if you're playing through those sides. Can definitely be dangerous here. But the Xayah, obviously a strong answer to some of that dive, so Yeon will have a little bit of that innate safety. APA is going to have to use those buffers on the rocket jump as well as the buster shot on those correct timings to try to stay safe as well.
Yeah, I love the Xayah into the Vi for being able to get away from that engage. I also like CoreJJ being on this Rakan. I like him having that huge team fight go button to really give Team Liquid a chance to find the engages, find the fights when they need them. Now let's see what the final answer will be here. Okay, Kalista Kalista, Senna for Massu and Busio.
Again, it's going to be these double-ranged lanes here, so TL are really going to struggle in that 2v2 early, and they have Bwipo here that's going to be in one of these lanes, so they could even just swap again onto the Rumble and do what they did last time around. Busio has just been such a fan of playing for the 2v2. He is a mid laner who swapped down to support. He's comfortable playing a lot of different styles of champions, and they are going to look to try to bully TL.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned it, but last time when they met back up after the lane swap and tried to play the 2v2,
Didn't work so well.
They got turbo blasted in that Boston. Yeah, and that was double range. Technically, it's definitely a way weaker double range than.
But fast forward 30 minutes, and then how did it look?
They won the game. Scoreboard.
Yep.
That's what matters. All right. Once again here, Team Liquid have invested in the Nocturne plus CoreJJ's Rakan. CoreJJ, of course, with the signature Rakan available. And if you get Nocturne Ultimate to turn out the lights, you can come up with some very huge, game-making.
Can be really annoying to play against because there is so much sustain, a lot of poke and prod, the shielding, the healing can become really, really powerful. But again, it is a very vulnerable target here to that Nocturne, plus the Rumble Equalizer coming in over the top. That CoreJJ engage. If you can lock down multiple of these AD carries, it can be devastating because there's so many squishy members over on the FlyQuest side as well.
All right, boys, let's do it. It might be the last game of Swiss stage for Worlds 2024. If FlyQuest can triumph again, it would silence the doubters who still think that Team Liquid are the best team in North America. It would make FlyQuest feel the best they could possibly feel to 2-0 their rivals heading into the quarterfinals. But TL would love to stop it and take us to a third game.
TL, in their series versus GAM, dropping game number 1, Spawn then gave a speech to his team in which he said, "We cannot go out like this. We invested 10 months of hard work and training into this year." And it all comes down to this once again. Now FlyQuest, though, their opponent, an opponent that knows them very well. And this time around, no lane swap either, so we will get the standard lanes matchup.
I like how you bring up that they know them very well because it's always such a double-edged sword, right? The amount of familiarity that both these teams have with one another, playing each other over 20 times throughout this year, just trying to eke out those little advantages and predictions that you know based on all that behavior.
And it's an important story because both of these two teams have actually made each other better throughout the year. This is not a story of them, dominating from the very beginning, but they really had to work through it through spring, through summer. And both of them here making their way to the world stage. Of course, here on the bottom side of the map, the double range here, pushing in, trying to get their advantage on the minion wave to get their level 2.
And we'll see if they are going to be able to do it. Busio is going to be able to get that level 2 first, and they will step forward. And any trades you can take, it's going to be a lot about just dodging out the Rakan Qs, because that's the only way that they can kind of sustain up and survive in this lane. Busio is going to be poking and prodding and make things pretty difficult for them.
That guy in the audience, I think he might have missed some of the play-in stage.
100 Thieves are still here.
I think there might be some VODs you need to go watch, brother.
No, I disagree.
Skip those.
I disagree.
Go watch some Beat Cloud9. It doesn't get better from there. It's kind of like Game of Thrones. You just stop at a certain point.
Right.
Go watch the end.
Anything after season 6, we're not watching anymore. All right, boys.
100 Thieves beating C9, season 6 Game of Thrones. Stop.
Yeah. All right. Well, Busio is taking a little damage here as FlyQuest put the pressure on early here in the bottom lane. Remember that in game number 1, it was Yeon and CoreJJ ruling that 2v2. They were building a lot of the lead. When Team Liquid first hit the 2,000 gold lead mark, it was 1.7k on Yeon, but a flash as FlyQuest are getting engaged on down here in the bottom lane. Yeon and CoreJJ are lower, but UmTi is showing up first. Busio's gonna die, and it's Team Liquid getting first blood yet again.
And these are the types of plays where you desync the timing because the junglers are mirrored coming towards bottom side, but because UmTi skips his red, which is kind of common for Nocturne, you do your small camps first, get them respawning first, he's on Krugs, he knows he's going to be one camp ahead of Inspired, who's just full clearing on the Vi, and CoreJJ goes in to burn Busio's flash, even though the TL bottom lane, health gets chunked out and they can't follow, their jungler is enough. The desync timing there pays off. First blood.
It's nicely done, and it's going to be accelerating UmTi had a massive game, obviously. Great start at the level 1 when they played against GAM on this pick. Really went off to the races and became such a problem in that game, was constantly attacking side lanes and being really efficient.
Wait, you didn't change the script. It was lose game 1 into pick Nocturne. It's happening again. Lose game 1 into
Please
Nocturne.
mix it up a little bit. I mean, come on.
Make it feel believable, you
Well,
know?
here's another little wrinkle in the script. 4 people top for TL, looking for the dive. Inspires around.
All right, let's see what Bwipo can do. Needs to buy enough time for his jungler to arrive at least. Bwipo with the flash impact, going to take some damage from the turret, but not enough to kill him, and Inspired cannot get there in time. Nicely done, Team Liquid 2-0.
Yeah, really nicely done there from TL. Just using the tempo, they get the kill on bot side, they recall, they all go top, they get an immediate dive there onto Bwipo, force out his flash. Didn't even cost them a summoner, so very clean stuff there from TL.
I swear, there better be another VOD of the speech that Spawn gave after losing this game 1. Because what is he saying to UmTi? Because UmTi just turns into a maniac here. He ganks bottom lane, boom, success. They go up top side, they dive the tower, success again.
I mean, at that point, you're just losing on purpose to get another Spawn speech.
Yeah.
It's content farming, baby. It's a new method.
I want Spawn to come give us a
Where's our speech, Spawn?
inspirational
Come on,
caster
bro.
speech.
I've
Yeah.
known that guy for like 10 years.
All right, Yeon and CoreJJ now making life pretty hard for Bwipo as he tries to get away from some of those feathers with Yeon bouncing him around. It is a 700 gold lead here for TL after those initial couple of kills, getting them off to a good start yet again, but we'll see if they can keep that moving. First Dragon is Hex this game, so you're not going to see that powerful soul, but remember that Team Liquid was really happy to see the soul in the first game with their early objective control. We'll see if they can have that same objective control in this one. 15 seconds until the first grub spawn.
One of the things I really like about this swap here from TL is that Rumble is 6 now and has Equalizer, so they can't actually pressure the tower where they can easily pressure Bwipo.
Yeah, Bwipo ignited, smited. He is down, so, you know, in the general sense of the word, not with the summoner spell. It's not like he's a jungle camp, but he's out of the picture. And Team
Smited by
Liquid's
CoreJJ.
3-0.
Like Flower said, smited his ass.
He's out of there. Team Liquid, 3-0. They're off to an almost 1,500 gold lead. FlyQuest, though, are looking for that first set of grubs.
Yeah, going to be able to get the grubs. This isn't going to be contested, but again, they get the dive on top side, they get a plate there, they deny minions, and they push in bot side, so more minions going to be denied down on that bot side as well from Impact, who had the push. As FlyQuest are sending Bwipo down towards that bot wave, but unfortunately for him, it's just going to be him arriving to a wave that's pushing away from him. And again, we're going to have the TL bot lane going down there to arrive and just keep Bwipo down. They really are focusing on him this game. They're trying to put him in a deficit, and they do have a lot better scaling, a lot better consistent damage than what they brought in that game number 1.
The difference here between the game number 1 is that the actual objectives this time, FlyQuest did at least get the grubs. It does look very similar with TL, you know, getting a bunch of kills early, kind of freely tower diving and successfully tower diving Bwipo there. CoreJJ, by the way, nice placement on his Rakan knockup. Caught Bwipo as he was dashing, and now gonna interrupt his recall as well.
One major difference, though, is that Inspired and Quad haven't been able to pair up to get a lot of pressure on APA. APA has just been kind of farming comfortably.
CoreJJ with the grand entrance to try to make his exit, but UmTi immediately swooping in here with a paranoia. Look at the EXP bars on the side of the screen. Inspired only halfway to level 6, and now Quad's in danger as APA jumps after him, looking to get the reset here on the buster shot, on the rocket jump, excuse me, from the explosive charge.
So, interesting, we're going to have a desync on the ultimates for jungle now, too. Azael, you mentioned Inspired has not been able to combine with Quad yet. He just now got Inspired's ultimate, so the level 6 threat is available. However, because of the play we just saw on screen, the deep vision that you see they left behind is almost as important as the chunks that they got on enemy health bars. Still though, because UmTi invested ultimate and you don't have those resources there at 4TL, FlyQuest can move in and will claim their dragon. This is on top of the 3 grubs that they got.
And I also really like, this is a subtle thing, but APA was moving down from mid lane, so he wasn't on vision, I believe, when they went in with the Nocturne ult, and that's really what kind of causes that flash from Inspired, because I don't think Inspired was actually in that much danger. It was really just Core and UmTi there. He wasn't going to die 100-0, but he doesn't know the location of these additional members from TL. The lights get turned off. It can be a bit chaotic, and didn't want to risk getting CC'd 100-0.
It gets a little bit scary. FlyQuest do have control over both of the first spawns of neutral objectives, but Team Liquid with an over 2,000 gold lead, just 6.5 minutes into the game, feels very, very good. Yeon and CoreJJ still here in this 2v2. Almost level 6 for Core. Still needs about that last 1/3 of a level. Yeon taking some damage from Busio and Massu here with a double range threat. Yeon's got a lot of spears in him, down to 100 HP with a Dawning Shadow, forcing out the Feather Storm.
Quad as well has a roam timer. I don't know if he's going to be able to catch them, but he's even going towards tier 2.
Bwipo goes in for the third, and Topho Strike goes all out on Impact, bringing Inspired in with him. Impact with a flash away, but immediately with the chase from Inspired, Equalizer drops down over the top. Impact staying alive for now. Bwipo might just be taken down by UmTi, who needs one more hit, and he takes him out of the picture. It's a 2v2 outplay for Team Liquid.
It's massive for TL, and they survive on the bot side as well. It does cost Yeon his barrier, but not his flash. Quad can't get anything. Massu and Busio do farm some plates, though, so that is the lone victory for them. But look at Tristana on the top side. This is going to be even more tower damage. Team Liquid are pulling away with this game number 2.
Yeah, Quad tried to find them in that brush down there, but invested ultimate, as you say, unable to actually find a kill, and APA being funneled money. We have seen this all summer long for Team Liquid, especially on the Tristana here.
I mean, we thought Team Liquid's game 1 early game looked good. Game 2 is looking even better. All of this plate money, all of this kill money, nearly 3,000 gold ahead of FlyQuest. 30 seconds until our next set of grubs spawn.
FlyQuest as well this time around are a bit shorter range. So Busio collects a bunch of souls, that is. And do rely on the Ahri plus Fly combination, you know, looking for some of those picks. Kalista as well needs to get right in there. So we'll see how Team Liquid is able to continue to play the map this time around. Last game, they really broke down in the mid-game stages where they started giving over picks and kills to FlyQuest. They cannot repeat that mistake again.
Bwipo getting torched down here against Impact, who had that heated up Flame Spitter just lasting on him for the entire duration. But it looks like Team Liquid's control over the topside river will earn them the second set of grubs. Neither team should be able to hit that 4 grub spot unless CoreJJ can randomly steal this with a Gleaming Quill, but there's almost no way. All right, UmTi's got the smite. 3-3 on grubs in this second game.
Yep, Inspired was stealing away the red. He did get it.
APA jumps in, looking for the engage here on FlyQuest in the top side. UmTi with a paranoia sets it up for APA to grab the kill on Massu, while in the bottom lane, Impact's now potentially in a 1v3 dive scenario. He's got a couple seconds left on the equalizer, and FlyQuest wants to hit him before he can cast it. Impact drops in the bottom lane. Nobody's going to be traded back, but APA putting the DPS into the top lane tier 1 turret should be able to grab that first objective here.
Yep, the Demolitionist gonna do his job up there. Meanwhile, they also got the benefit of pushing mid. So kind of 2 lanes won there for Team Liquid. FlyQuest striking back a bit on the bottom side and getting some much needed money for themselves. Because if they can't even hit their single item breakpoints, then they aren't gonna have the damage behind the picks, behind the burst here to be able to actually come back. So TL, really, really strong run of play.
And one of the big problems here that we haven't talked a ton about is the fact that, you know, Bwipo was a brick wall in game 1. Game 2, he has less gold than both the supports. He has no economy in this game. He's getting focused very, very heavily, pushed in, killed off constantly in this game. Just now got a wave, so he's just slightly past them. But, you know, it is very difficult for him to survive in a game like this when he's this much down on gold, and there's 2 really high damage carries.
And it's very easy for them to continue to push APA to the side lane, send him bottom, shove out that wave as well, keep up that farm on the Tristana, accelerate him to his 2-item breakpoint, and then be able to close the loop there towards mid. Like you say, we're barely over 12.5 minutes into this game, so the timeline here for Team Liquid does look quite good for the next Dragon. Moving in already to grab their vision. CoreJJ has been exceptional on this Rakan. Does have a skin on it.
He absolutely has. I mean, it's another one of these things where it's so difficult when a solo AP threat on a team gets really, really fed because it demands you build some level of MR, but then it's like you're playing Ksante, you're playing against double AD carry, but you're also going to get roasted by the Rumble, so you need some amount of MR to survive in a side lane, and your job gets very, very difficult then because you want to build the minimum amount of magic resist to survive, so you're still useful in team fights and don't just get shredded by Tristana and Xayah.
And honestly, even just trying to handle the minion waves in the side lane because enemy team is running Nocturne.
Well, now hold on. Busio trying to
I think
disengage.
you beat the minions 1v1 still. We're not there.
Oh, come on.
All right.
It's going to be close. You're right, Kobe, but I think
Hold
you
on,
can do
down
it.
here in the bottom lane, we got an engage coming out from FlyQuest. Nice use of the combo there to get the pick on APA. The Vi and Ahri coming to life to make that one happen.
There's your pick. They find it. They do have enough damage to finish off this time, and they'll be rewarded with finally getting that outer tower for themselves. FlyQuest starting to get some money back, but again, does rely on those cooldowns, and that was double flashes used to get that pick.
Exactly. It's a pretty expensive investment there to be able to kill him off. And we are looking towards Mountain Soul, which would be, I think, really powerful, honestly, for both teams, which do have a lot of upfront damage, a lot of pick. But I think it is pretty devastating for FlyQuest, especially if Team Liquid are able to grab that. When you're playing Ahri Vi, when you're playing with this Kalista, so much of it is about getting that initial kill in the fight, and your job just gets that much more difficult as they stack the resistances here with the Mountain Dragons.
Speaking of stacking, we're 14 minutes into the game now. Isaac, could you read how many souls Senna has? I can't see the number from here.
It is 41, not a lot.
Okay, 41 souls, nothing to really write home about here just yet. MasterCard Lane Economy Snapshot shows
Thank you,
that
MasterCard.
yeah, thank you, MasterCard. We got Impact off to the greatest
Gonna
lead
have to swipe
of the
and buy
game
some more souls.
so far. And this Rift Herald is going to drop now as well. So TL going to pull ahead in that neutral objective game. We'll see how much value they can get out of this one. Still just one turret to one turret for either side.
Yeah, you can see the Echoes of Hylia is done, the Dreammaker is done, so Busio is online now. With this build, your healing really does start to ramp up. You are a big scaling threat, but not in the traditional way, not in like a damage way. You become really, you're Soraka with a gun, let's be honest, right? Like you have a lot of healing, and it can turn around fights and bait in your opponent sometimes, where they overcommit thinking they have enough damage to push through, and then all of a sudden the ultimate shielding comes out, the Ahri shield comes out, all of this additional healing comes out, and can really make things difficult.
Meanwhile, tending to the side lanes there for FlyQuest, they just keep Bwipo up there. They have both their teleports ready, so they should be able to make the rotation, but get caught.
Immediately, Team Liquid go for the engage, but they don't have enough damage to secure the kill. Now the equalizer comes down over the top as FlyQuest guarantee their jungler's able to survive. Bwipo now in a bad spot, though, has to try to go all out to get himself away, but he can't do anything to escape the flame spitter. Now TL continuing their engage with a nice knock-up on a Massu. That Kalista's going nowhere. Yeon's going on a killing spree, and the Herald's going into the tier 2 turret. Nicely done from TL. Just absolutely swimming in money after that play.
That should be the play that breaks this game. That play right there. The catch on the rotation. FlyQuest a little bit desync there, and you saw after teleporting in, Bwipo actually dashed forward while the Rift Herald was able to finish off the tower. So then he turns around, and there's no tower standing here, and he's walking right into this Fed Rumble with the flamethrower alight. So Impact taking care of that mid tower, roasting him alive, and that should be Team Liquid really cementing control of the entire Rift now. Once again, you see so many wards left in enemy jungle, and since you're running Nocturne, you just get to constantly go for these picks. See immediately there, CoreJJ, APA, and UmTi jump on him because they are already channeling that Rift Herald mid, you see, which takes out the tower, and Yeon is able to ult the engage there from Bwipo, who turns around with no escape.
Yeah, exactly. You know, he does force out the ulti there with the Pathmaker, but then you said it, there's no way out. Tries to get back towards that mid lane tower, but Impact is there and waiting to cook him up. And Impact is just so fed at this point in the game. He even has another about 400 gold just from first strike on top of all the farm advantages that he has. APA doing what he does here in the side lane, getting richer and richer. Both the TL AD carries approaching that second completed item very quickly here. And the game has really fallen apart for FlyQuest. I mean, this time around, you can't really just sit back and depend on outscaling.
Exactly. Your range is far inferior to game number 1. Your engage is into a Xayah and a Tristana, who the rocket jump buffering is very annoying to try and deal with. And so you have to come out with stuff like charm flashes and really quick plays. But every time you go into a side lane, you become attackable. And CoreJJ has been constantly roaming around the map, trying to start these plays off, with UmTi always farming a camp that is on his side of the map. It's so critical for Nocturne to always be like farming near your engaged support so you can follow up, and TL have done that well.
TL continuing to choke FlyQuest out of the map now with the engage in the mid lane. Paranoia from UmTi diving after the AD carry of FlyQuest, but he's gone too deep. Busio with the kill on the Team Liquid jungler as Yeon has to try to retreat now, inspired with a Vault Breaker flash, but it ain't gonna find the target. He can follow it up with the ulti here as Quad shows up from the side and a nice shutdown. Back over to FlyQuest as Team Liquid continues trying to run. It's a 2-for-1 trade favoring Fly so far. Impact's got to try to get away. Quad running out of Spirit Rush charges now. The rest of the team needs to join up, and Busio's got the kill on Impact. Team Liquid got way too excited.
Yeah, UmTi goes very deep on that ulti, and now not only do you give up the kills, we'll see if they can get even more off this. We can watch this one more time. What is it that he saw to really kind of prompt this play? I mean, APA was not even there. He is very strong at this point, but it's really underestimating the damage mitigation that Senna is going to provide with all of his healing, with all this shielding, and then all of a sudden, the Vi comes in from the side. Flash Q is going to be ulted by Yeon, but look at this ulti buffer there from the Vi as the root is coming through, immunes it with his own ultimate.
If I was Spawn after this one, I think he's going to say, like, calm down and look at the risk versus reward of that play.
Yeah.
That is an unnecessary attempt for a dive because you're just going to continue to accrue things. You can tell, look at the laughing there. Tanner, DeMonte in the back, cracking up at this because he knows FlyQuest here just got a nice little bit of gold, a nice little way possibly to fight their way back in.
Yeah, and I mean, you saw the reaction there from Yeon. They're going to look for side lane.
Here we go again. UmTi with a Paranoia, this time after Bwipo. All out to try to get the Ksante away, but Bwipo's now in a 1v2. Impact providing the damage, donning Shadow for a shield, but Bwipo is taking so much damage over time from the Rumble. He'll try to continue escaping. Quad missed the charm. Impact will secure that kill, and now APA forces Quad back as well.
All right, let's see. It doesn't look like that will allow them to force anything because they know Bwipo has teleports. It is a nice pick to get and does demonstrate the danger again of the entirety of the map, even with the kind of bump on the road here you see with the win probability, which is heavily influenced by the gold graph, is still going to be in pretty much complete control for TL. So FlyQuest are aiming to try and find some of those picks with their Ahri buy, with their sweeper usage here. APA does have flash as well as his rocket jump though, so should be quite safe.
Yeah, and you can see also that Core has just been constantly moving up towards his side of the map. You know, he's moving into the river. You can see he's actually warding over the wall to try to spot any early movements. You know, before the Vi gets in position to attack, he's often going to be spotted out. It makes it very difficult for Inspired to look for these plays. Again, as he's moving forward to clear out vision, he'll be spotted by that blue trinket, and then you look down towards the bot lane, and it's Rumble shoving out this wave. It's mid lane being pushed in, and it's TL looking to collapse up towards that top side of the map.
That's how you just extend your gold lead when you are far ahead like this and you have the extra like very long range pressure tools. Keep on making FlyQuest lose out on a minion wave here or a minion wave there. Little bits of golden experience going into those towers that they push in. See what FlyQuest can do if that last play can be like a rallying spark for them. Because otherwise, Team Liquid are very much threatening to push us to that game 3.
They really are, and I mean, TL are still in an incredible spot, and I think if you're on FlyQuest's side, you hope that they get a little bit nervous, they get a little bit stressed by a play like that going bad. I mean, Yeon had such a big reaction to that play after. You know these players are under an immense amount of stress. It is win or go home for Team Liquid. This is either the beginning of something more or the end of the road for them. FlyQuest obviously trying to fight to survive here at Worlds. Both teams feeling they have so much more to give, so much more to do at this tournament.
Yeah, stress is such an interesting thing because, well, actually, let's see about this mid lane pass.
Now, Bwipo using the Pathmaker to just walk away as CoreJJ could have otherwise hit him with a grand entrance. Ksante very good at walking away from those situations.
Okay, that grouping mid, they did just shove the top wave as well. Not going to get all the way to the tower, but seems like everyone will be safe after that pass.
So while TL are still very, very ahead, Quad has quietly collected a lot of gold. I mean, he has the Storm Surge done now at this point, so he is on 2 items. He's working towards his 3rd, has that Malignus for quite some time. If you can find that first initial pick, 100 to 0 someone like APA, all of a sudden the gold doesn't really matter. You can get those resets and potentially run over the play. But they're looking for Yeon.
They want it. Inspire tries to make the engage, but Yeon doing a beautiful job here with a Feather Storm. Inspire taking a ton of damage now with a counter punch from TL hitting hard. Massu and Quad in full retreat as Team Liquid teleport impact in. The fight is already over and TL's heading over to Baron.
FlyQuest knew time was running out and they just snapped. They decided to go for it, but the reactions from Yeon and CoreJJ are immediate. Yeon with the ultimate, and then CoreJJ turns it around immediately, and it might very well be a TL Baron. Let's see what FlyQuest can do about it. They can't smite steal it, but they could try and poke around and fight.
Yeah, FlyQuest need to try to do something here. TL got the Baron down to about 2,000 HP. Baron not secured yet as Bwipo goes in, finds a nice Pathmaker onto 2. UmTi with the flash into the pit, but he's gonna go right back in to secure it here with a smite. Team Liquid just cleaning up FlyQuest all over the top side river. The river runs red, baby. Team Liquid 14-6 now, Baron in their pocket.
And that could just be the death knell from FlyQuest in this game. They try to pull the trigger on this pick, but Yeon reacts so quickly. The Q, the flash, they're going for it. They're trying to look for it. Immediate reaction. Then look at this, flashing forward to dodge out from the Q from Quad, going aggressive on the play, continuing that damage. So Inspired has no way out.
And just the synergy between Yeon and CoreJJ hits the Blade Caller, and CoreJJ out of the side of your screen, appearing on the Rakan, dashes forward, follows up on it, they get the return kill, and then here, because they got that return kill, they were targeting Inspired. FlyQuest just in desperation try and push them off the Baron as it was just getting so low, but UmTi here over the wall, pretty quick thinking. He sees there's a blast cone there, so he knows he can invest his flash and just blast cone right back in to secure it.
That man just lost 3 years off his life when UmTi flashed out of the pit.
I hope these players are paying for his blood pressure medication after some of these.
They're gonna have to visit Grandpa Spawn in the old folks home in about 2 years.
So, Grandpa Spawn, tell us a story. When you were at Worlds in 2024.
Well, right now, hopefully he can tell them the story about how they took it to a Game 3. They're up 8,500 gold. They are on Soul Point. 4.5 minutes, though, until that next Drake spawns, and they have Baron for another 80 seconds. I know Team Liquid are wanting to just crack this base and end this one here.
And FlyQuest make the call. We're so far behind. Actually, they go for both plays.
They want to go in after UmTi, who turns around for the Paranoia counter engage as CoreJJ is ready to try to back up his jungler. Nice equalizer over the top of 3. Meanwhile, a problem off to the side. Yeon nearly killed, trying to get away now as Quad needs one more attack, but he ain't going to find it. Quad into the stasis trying to survive, but Inspired is already dead. Bwipo's into the back line, but he can't find the kill on Yeon. The AD carry is still fighting, still kiting. There is no way for FlyQuest to try to contest these guys. The Blade Caller finally finds him at the very end, and Yeon will trade his own life. FlyQuest has lost 3 men. Team Liquid have lost only 2. UmTi coming back out of the base now as CoreJJ and APA will continue as your Team Liquid demolition crew here in the bottom lane. It's 10 seconds on Inspired, 25 on Massu and Bwipo. The game will not end here, but Team Liquid will successfully crack the base of FlyQuest before the Baron expires.
Whoa, what a scramble there from Yeon, running them through the marathon, through the jungle here. Let's take another look. FlyQuest, of course, they go for another snap play, this time onto UmTi, who ults over to gain the extra distance towards the rest of his team. And Bwipo there tries to get the pincer, but it's really Quad who goes in and starts the hope for FlyQuest, because he chunks Yeon very low initially, but they just can't quite finish it.
And look at Core playing around him, constantly re-shielding, peeling him non-stop. Made it a nightmare for FlyQuest to try to finish him off, because with the start of that fight, if they could have just killed Yeon right off the bat, it's a very different looking fight, but they have to commit so many resources to killing this guy that's at 5% HP.
Meanwhile, they had another AD carry all along ready to go as APA teleported in, and they got their first inhibitor. So easy inhibitor on bottom means they rotate up to the top half of the map.
And we also, if the game goes on that long, have nearly synced up timers here with Baron and what will be Mountain Soul for Team Liquid. A little bit over 2 minutes for both of those as the wave is pushed up here in the top lane. Team Liquid occupying the red side jungle of FlyQuest. UmTi in the brush with a control ward, just waiting to see if anyone is foolish enough to face check this one. APA will be walking up with a minion wave now, trying to put a little bit more damage onto the tier 2 here in top.
Yeah, CoreJJ actually just put his Knight's Vow onto APA here rather than Yeon recently too, because APA, the level 17 Tristana, very critical to keep up. And of course, he still doesn't have his flash quite yet.
Inspired with the engage. A lot of damage into APA, but he rocket jumps back over the wall to stay alive. Plenty of damage, just burning Inspired away as Paranoia brings UmTi into the fight a little bit late. It's already won here for Team Liquid as Yeon uses the Featherstorm and Barrier at the same time, thinking he was way too close to death. He and Core just barely hanging on, but there's plenty of HP on APA, Impact, and UmTi, and they're going to keep pushing the tier 2 while the super minions push the base of FlyQuest. The tier 2 turret still hasn't fallen yet. FlyQuest doing a good enough job hanging on for now, but back in the base, Quad's the one who has to save those Nexus turrets. Impact still trying to find some damage here with the Electro Harpoons, but APA's ready to follow it up. He tries to go forward after Massu. Massu using the Fate's Call, trying to bring him back. Fight back against APA, and the shutdown goes over to Busio. The Team Liquid mid laner got too aggressive, and FlyQuest punished.
Well, what he was trying to do there was protect Impact, who just got snared, and then actually does force the double summoners out of Massu. While it is a slight opening here for FlyQuest, they're going to have to run with it. Any slight opening at this stage, you just have to full send, and the Dragon is, unfortunately for them, too far in the future, because APA will be back up by then.
And I'm going to say, though, credit to FlyQuest. I thought this game was going to be over a while ago. It was such a massive lead for TL. They are fighting nonstop. They're pushing and not allowing TL to take an inch.
Well, Bwipo now finding himself in a 1 versus 3, and one of those 3 is an AD carry. Makes it very hard for the Ksante to try to get away. Yeon eats 2/3 of his own health there from the combo of Quad, who does hit the charm on the enemy AD carry, but the Nocturne ulti is good enough to make FlyQuest back away as the Baron spawns.
And Yeon almost has his ulti back here, so that window is closing. Inspired with spam pinging the Xayah ultimate, after that last fight, trying to see if they could find a window to punish that. But that window has closed, and it's going to be difficult to get into the backline and get him.
And Dragon's Soul is on the map. The Dragon is already up here, so we're seeing the mid-prio turn into River here. As they're right inside, APA gonna blow this one up quite quickly. I don't think there's anything that FlyQuest can do about it. And since they are running so heavy investment into pick, into burst damage with Vi Ahri here, is really unfortunate for them. Very difficult Drake as far as their possible ways to win. Now, in addition to all the gold and all the extra item leads that Team Liquid have, they've got the extra safety of the Mountain Soul.
It'll take a miracle for FlyQuest to win at this point, and Team Liquid are trying to ruin the chance for even that, just pumping DPS into this Baron. No contest coming from FlyQuest. We should be looking at our final push coming up here soon, as TL have everything they need to lock this game away.
Guardian Angel actually picked up by UmTi for good measure here, so they've got an extra life. I mean, there are just so many defensive things here that are really difficult for FlyQuest to get through. Kind of mentioned in the previous team fight where CoreJJ was like moving his Knight's Vow around when APA did not have flash, and then in that fight after APA was safe, he then switched it onto Yeon after the cooldown came up, and he's just been so good in his like flashy plays getting in there too. But now it's quite easy for TL as they reset and try and retake control of the top side of the map yet again.
I think Core has been stellar this Worlds, both when he was playing Enchanters, when I think back to the Nami game from him, also when he's been playing these hard engaged, the amount that he has been able to move around the map and make things work for TL. It's one of the best years he's had in the LCS, I think, in a long time. Has been really looking on top of his game here in TL, trying to force us to a game number 3. Does feel like when these teams play, it's always so competitive. The TP's coming in and TL looking to try to put the finishing touches on this one. We'll see if FlyQuest can pull off a miracle and make the game continue.
Not just a TP with an Infinity Edge for that level 18 Tristana. APA has massive damage. Engage with a grand entrance from CoreJJ, and APA's already killed Inspired before the Vi could do anything. 5v4 for TL as FlyQuest trying to scramble and defend what's left of their base. Bwipo's nearly killed already as he tries to retreat now. Third and Topo strike with a knockback onto UmTi, but it ain't gonna matter. The Flame Spitter putting so much damage into Bwipo. He'll burn away before he can reach the safety of the fountain. The Nexus turrets will not stand long. It is going to be a 9-game day here on the final episode of Swiss 2024 as Team Liquid even up this best of 3.
Woohoo! We're going the distance!
I mean, it's just been a battle between these two teams. TL dominating the early games. FlyQuest crushed the late game in game number 1. We'll see if they're going to be able to do it in game number 3. We're going to be right back after this.